And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcast, but also as well inside sports, fantasy football. We covered the latest news and trends for fantasy football in the coming weeks. We will be previewing each and every week the NFL playoffs. So go ahead and check out our upcoming shows right there for you at Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Plus, also, as well, of course, Joe Soro. He is a great part of what we do each and every time out. So go ahead and check out what he's doing when he's not on the Lakers Fast Break. And that is as Ox1947 at LakersBall.com. Plus, also go ahead and check out what he has to offer for you if you are in the Southern California area and you need a new lawn transformed into something much more magical than it is today. Go ahead, please go ahead and check out what we're doing today and what he's doing at Simblades, Simblades with a Y.com. I do want to mention Div X-Ray. What happened to Halliburton? Looks like it's a hamstring issue. As far as that's concerned, go ahead and right now, I think check out what's going on with ESPN. ESPN reported that he did undergo an MRI as far as that's concerned, and it looks like he might have escaped danger as far as that's concerned. It might be just a day-to-day thing going forward. It is not a tear from what I'm seeing. But it is something that there is a hamstring issue with Halliburton. He is going to have an MRI on it. So it just looks like it's a strain, but not a full tear at this point in time, which I know that Indiana Pacers fans are breathing a sigh of relief at this point in time. But if you are a Memphis fan, and the Grizzlies fans are not too happy because they have lost Ja Morant to a shoulder injury. He's going to have shoulder surgery, and he is out for the rest of the season. Do the Grizz own their own pick this year? I believe they do. I will look that up and make sure that that is the case. As far as that's concerned, I will make sure if they do, but I believe that they do own their own draft picks this year. So yeah, if that's the case. So if not, I will go ahead and change that statement. But yeah, definitely look that up for you here in the next couple of minutes. But it is Gerald Glasser. Thanks so much for watching this thing. So even when the Lakers are not playing, the dynamics of the NBA constantly changes. What's up, Blue? Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Also want to give a big shout out to Adam as well. Truly appreciated. Div X-Ray, of course, I said before. Intel Wild, the man, the myth, the legend indeed. Truly appreciate you stopping by. Corey Childs, great to have you here. Cannot thank you enough for joining us. Hoping I can get Magic Man himself. He's going to come back on, hopefully here in a second. Intel Wild, that is correct. It is a snack pack. We're going to be talking about Lakers here in a second. Truly appreciate it. But also as well, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Of course, Empire Jeff TV. Of course, Lakers in 5. Lakers Corner. Larry Lakers Dribbling Chit Chat. The John McCalian channel. Support all those great channels. And speaking of supporting great channels, go ahead and make sure you're with us each and every time out. And, of course, by liking and subscribing. So you will get the latest notification on when we go live with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. It is Gerald Glasser. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. We do have new national champions in the Michigan Wolverines. So congratulations to them and all their fans. I know Joe is happy for his family, that he comes from Michigan. So he is very happy about that. So they have beaten up on the Washington Huskies. That game is over 34-13. So hopefully everybody will be coming on over here to talk some hoops. And at halftime, the Clippers lead 71-63. That's of interest to us because of the downfall of the Phoenix Suns and how we may be able to, with a good week ahead, start getting back into the mix, the upper mix in the Western Conference. All we need to do is put a couple good weeks together and let's see if we can get it flowing. But is that the case? Is this season still up for grabs for us? Does this season still have hope? Or is it a lost season for us already? That's what I want to talk with you out there. Hopefully, I can get more people involved as far as that's concerned. But I'm so glad to have you here on a brilliant Monday night. The championship game is done and finito, and we move on to other sports. We can now focus more, even with the NFL playoffs, on the NBA season at hand. And with the Lakers coming off a very gritty victory over the Los Angeles Clippers, who are playing Phoenix right now, it comes as no shock that the Lakers still, even with all that bravado that they showed off last night, still have a lot of questions that need to be answered. Obviously, a lot of people out there are second guessing and questioning what Darvin is doing. We do that all the time here on the show, and here he is indeed. It is the man, the myth, the legend himself, as well as Intel Wild. It is, of course, the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to stop on by and have a snack pack per se. It is the magic man, Sean Grice. And Sean, as much as I wanted to tell you earlier, and I did tell you earlier, that I thought we should go ahead and make the description, can Skylar Mays be the difference for a Lakers championship run this season? I thought that was maybe a little bit too much. Just a little too much this season so far. We got to let him play, see how he is. Hopefully, he shoots better than 26% from behind the arc like he is this season. Let's hope. Let's hope. And not Dylan Windler yet. So we don't know about Dylan Windler. So we'll see. Although, it's so funny because I have to keep on correcting some of our audience member. His last name is not Swindler. It is Windler. So let's go ahead and make sure we got that right. But all that kidding aside, the Lakers are still 18 and 19 on the season, my friend. They are in 10th place in the Western Conference. Although Houston, Phoenix, and Golden State are all having their own issues. And with a good couple weeks, the Lakers could find themselves squarely back into playoff contention. So I ask you, is this a lost season, my friend? Or can the ship be righted between Darvin Ham and what right now, before any trades are made, because everybody becomes trade eligible here, or almost everybody becomes trade eligible in about a week, Jared Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis notwithstanding. Can this ship be righted and the Lakers still find time to salvage a good season? And by the way, I just want to again mention Skylar Mays was signed to a two-way contract, so I wanted to make sure that was noted. Yes.
So I'll say this, Joe. So the first part of the question is short answer yes with an F. And the second part is a long answer no with a but.
Okay. I just don't want to do the Joe. Hold on. No. And just
Yeah, no, no,
end
no,
like
no,
that.
no, no, no. So short answer is yes with an if. Yes, if that come to Jesus moment they all had in the film room is actually like a tangible uh building block, like an actual stepping stone for them to use. I don't buy it personally. I think that's a bunch of hooey.
Mm-hmm.
I just it was like I I I I just Darvin Ham has come off as a screwball on on the court and a really pretentious guy off it because at one point in time a few days ago he said he didn't understand why fans live and die on every game. Well, because we do podcasts exactly like this, Darvin Ham, because the Lakers fans and the community expect us to talk about game after game after game. That man has a silver tongue, and I completely understand why Jeannie and Rob were so enthralled with him because he stuck it all the way up their butts to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying this, oh yeah, we had a open film session and everybody spoke up and it was a come to Jesus moment and kumbaya around the campfire. That is a bunch of hogwash if I've ever heard it. I personally think that LeBron and AD were the ones who probably catapulted something like that because, quite honestly, Gerald, I don't think Darvin Ham has the interpersonal skills to try and mediate or work with others to do that. I just don't. We're not buying it. The locker room is severed. I can see it. You could see it. We can all see it. There are certain factions. There are like two factions. There's the Darvin Ham camp and everybody else, and only about a handful of people, less than that, you can count on one hand, are in the Darvin Ham camp, and probably you can count on two players who likely uh, are in his camp, and if I had to guess, it would be Torian Prince, and it would be at one point Gabe Vincent. To me, those two would be the only guys who likely would be in the Darvin Ham camp. He's isolated Austin Reeves. He has confused Rui Hashimura beyond all recognition. Rui doesn't know whether he's coming or going half the time on the court because his roles seem to change endlessly and seamlessly rather than stay consistent. I think LeBron could take him or leave him personally. AD, I mean, who knows? AD just plays the game. I don't think he really puts too much stock into who's coaching him, quite honestly. What's befuddling me, Gerald, is this. If Jeannie Buss is willing to give Darvin Ham the rope, so to speak, to be able to try and correct these issues, why weren't you willing to do that with Frank Vogel? Because Vogel won a championship. All Darvin Ham did was get swept in the Western Conference Finals. But herein lies the rub. Jeannie Buss does not care about wins or losses. She cares about stars, and more particularly superstars. Because if everybody remembers, the reason why Pelinka got that extension was not because he won a championship. It was because he traded for Russell Westbrook. Look at the timing, everyone. Look at the timing of that Russell Westbrook trade, and then look at the timing of Pelinka's extension. They're completely like this. They're tethered together. And that's all Jeannie cares about. And Jeannie resented Vogel for not making it work when Frank Vogel probably knew within the first half a week of practice that there is no way we can implement Russell Westbrook into this system and try and win a championship. But Jeannie didn't care. All Jeannie cares about is superstars. And she figured, well, I'm going to fire Vogel and just hire somebody who says they can deal with the issue.
Once again,
I don't think Dante. I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think Jeannie, like the buses. If the buses really cared about winning, they would fire Darvin Ham right now. But they don't. They don't.
They spend money up to a point. They penny pinch when they can, and then they spend money on certain occasions when they can. It's a very funny situation. They try to calculate on what they should spend money on and what they should not spend money on.
It's bizarre,
as a base, yeah, it is bizarre. It is bizarre, but you see it. You see some things as far as in the right way and then the wrong way. I'm still to this day cannot believe that they dissed Jerry West on those season tickets. I still can't believe to this day that they ever applied for PPP loan. I know Joe, who can't talk right now because the reason why Joe's not on here, he's in our chat, is because he has no voice. And Magic Man, I do want him to feel better, but there is a joke in there somewhere about Joe having no voice tonight. But I will say, when it comes right down to it, this organization goes about things in a very weird fashion for a team. Again, and I just say this because it's what Forbes usually puts them around, what, 9, 10, $8, 9, $10 billion as far as the value. You think a company, an organization worth $8 to $10 billion. Green light. Whatever we need to get it done, we get the best people in there at all positions, whether it's the water boy, whether it's the general manager, whether it's the third string center. You try to go ahead and get the very best. You don't cut corners, but that doesn't seem to always be the case, Magic Man. We'll still spend $50 million on AD, but we'll make sure we cut corners other places.
Yeah.
Even though we get more revenue from, and then we talked about this, despite my misgivings on the merchandise stores or lack thereof in the Los Angeles area, as far as a specific store, you still can find, as Joe mentioned, merchandise for Lakers anywhere because they are among the very best selling franchises in the entire world. So thus, you should be getting in enough money to never have to worry about not spending it like you are with this company. It just absolutely befuddles me why we are not, to be honest with you, why we're not in the same tax bracket as the Warriors, as the Suns, and as the Clippers. Why are we not, I know we're hard capped, but we're not at that level. There seems to be a limit on how far we'll go. They didn't sell their soul like Golden State or Phoenix did in order to try and put out what they thought was winning team. Now, obviously, it's bit them in the ass. But if you're a fan base, at least you know that they tried to write the checkbook. You can rag all you want on the Clippers, and we'd love to. And we were so happy that we beat them yesterday. But at least their owner, he'll write the checks to go ahead and make. Jeannie, we're never sure if she will write those checks needed to go ahead and get us over the top. We always talk about that joke, that Windhorst made a couple, the year that Golden State won, he said that they won this championship based off the checkbook. Well, you know what? If that's the way you need to get it done in 2024, there you go. But also it takes smart planning. It takes a good base, it takes a good foundation, takes a great organization, and among that you need the proper people in place, and I'm not sure that they're there. I'm not sure you paid the best dollar amount to get the best people in place in all those departments.
Yeah, no, Gerald, it's almost as if the philosophy is get bang for your buck, and if you don't, well, suck it up, buttercup. It's kind of
We'll
that's what
spend something somewhere,
yeah.
but yeah, penny pinch somewhere else.
As Gerald emphasized, that makes zero sense. You know, firing Tim DiFrancesco as your nutritionist when everybody across the board loved the guy, but you didn't want to pay him an extra what, 50K, 75K. So you said out
I'm
the
out.
door.
Mhm.
And then you hire like and this is such like a genie like cliched LA move. Yeah, we're gonna hire Gunnar Peterson as our strength and conditioning coach. Like seriously, the guy who pretends he's a beast and works out with like Kim Kardashian and Jessica Biel and what's her name, Gerald? Miss Marvel. What's her name? I'm thinking stick. She's a stick figure. Brie Larson. That's it. You know.
Balmer is worth 95 billion cash, but Genie is cheap, but your comment is not a fair one. No, I think it's a fair one. When you have a $10 billion organization, it is a fair question to ask, Cash. We're not like dealing with teams that are bargain basement that's barely staying above water that's going to file bankruptcy anytime soon, Cash. No, don't tell me that it's not a fair argument.
No,
It
no,
is a
yeah,
fair. Uh,
it
okay,
is.
Magic Man, let me ask this. Okay, name some of the most recognized names in sports world around the world. Lakers are
Ha-
up there, right?
Yep, Lakers, Manchester United,
Yankees.
Yankees, Cowboys, um, Arsenal, Chelsea, uh, Juventus FC. Yeah, the
They
Lakers.
make revenue all year round, pretty much more than any other sports entities out there. So don't tell me, Cash, that they can't spend the money. Don't tell me because Ballmer has $95 billion and Jeannie does not have $95 billion. She's got a little bit of cash on hand. We talked about this the other day. Yeah, this is what the only reason why she hasn't sold is probably closer to what Joe said, is because of the challenge. It's because of the fact that if she sold it out for $10 billion, she would be bored stiff as far as what she would want to do, as far as challenges in her life. So that's probably the best way to say it. So don't tell me that she doesn't have enough cash to flow around to go ahead and do things at every single level, to get the best GM, to get the best executives, to get the best this, to get the best that. So yeah, don't tell me that. That doesn't fly with me. Not when it comes to Lakers. If you were talking about the Charlotte Hornets, or talking about some of the other teams, maybe the Indiana Pacers per se, they have different financial situations. That could possibly be the case, but don't tell me that about the Lakers. I don't want to hear.
And Gerald, it's not as if the 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 teams you mentioned aren't dealing with their own strife right now. All those teams you mentioned, along with the Lakers, are fighting for a play-in spot right now.
Mhm.
And quite frankly, if you're fighting for a play-in spot with those two teams, straight cash, homie. Like they can decide to level up, and the Lakers can't, and that's another issue. I'm just it's I often think that sometimes I think um you know we can't afford to live in a bubble anymore, Gerald, because
Mhm.
we live in a global world. That being said, some people still do. And Jeannie Buss has a small circle, and she stays in that bubble, man, because there is no way, if you were the least bit interested in trying to improve your product, that you would listen to like, of course, there the old saying, if you listen to the fans, you'll be sitting with them. Like, of course, like, nobody expects them to listen to everything we have. That being said, you still need to have a little bit of humility and understand where your strengths and weaknesses lie. Um, you know, I
She's worth, just to let everybody know, if you take a look at it, $500 million. So it's got a little change on hand, doesn't she, Magic? According
yes,
to what 2022 statements, as far as what a Times Getty Images Times survey, as far as it's concerned, based off of what heavy.com, bustle.com, other sources are saying, around $500 million estimated worth if she doesn't sell the team. So you can disagree with all I say about Jeannie Buss as far as it's concerned. She can invest the company's funds into getting the best at each and every position. There's no excuse.
there,
So
there
whatever excuse you could throw at me, I'll throw that right back at you.
and if you have that kind of equity, Gerald, then yeah, like we don't have to tell you. If you have that kind of equity, you have to spend money to make money.
Mm-hmm.
That's how liquid assets work. You got to
Mm-hmm.
spend money to make money, and it seems that they are impervious. Particularly, Jeannie is impervious to trying to understand that in order to do that, sometimes you have to keep up with the Joneses
Mm-hmm.
or the Ballmers in this
So
case.
I ask you, my friend, and once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glasser along with Magic Man Sean Grice. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. It's just so weird how we were talking about people that have a $500 million, $1 billion, $95 billion estimated worth of the Lakers is $10 billion and all that. And when we compare it to what we have, most of us in our lives, so it is what it is. But when it comes right down to it,
Gerald, neither you nor I was also born with a silver spoon in our mouth
but
either.
Joe Soro was, yes. So we all know that. But that's why he loves the cereal so much. But need I digress? When it comes right down to it, Magic Man, the Lakers again, they're 18-19, 10th place in the Western Conference, but they do have a series of home games still coming up. Their one road game is at the team that is now, surprise, surprise, directly behind them in the Utah Jazz. They are not what they were 3 weeks ago, a lottery bound team that was going to be tanking. No, no, no. They won 8 out of the last 10. They're one of the hottest teams in the NBA, and they just beat on the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. So that's the road game that we have. So that aside, my friend, the Lakers now have to worry about Utah, Phoenix, Houston, and Golden State in and around what they're doing. But with, again, the tough part of the schedule hopefully behind them, the next 40 some odd games hopefully can look better. And at least the ones the rest of this month until the very end when they go on a road trip can look pretty good when it's predominantly a lot of home games. So I ask you, my friend, is this season done for the Los Angeles Lakers? Because I don't think so, but it's not perfect. There's a long way to go, and there's a lot of things that need to be done.
Yeah, I agree, Drilled. I don't think so either. That being said, you know, 37 games in, you have 45 left.
Mhm.
I think that the Lakers have to go at least 30 and 15 in order to get a top 6 seed.
Okay.
Minimum. Minimum. You have to
Okay.
so that would mean you have to win 2 out of every 3 games. I'm just not there yet because of Darvin Ham.
Okay. Because
The-
right now they're 4 games out of sixth place. That's
yeah.
right. As of right now, when we're talking.
Yes, and the conference record is pretty above board, in line with I think most of the Western Conference as well, except for Minnesota. I think they've only lost like 3 or 4 games in conference. Yeah, you can wish him one hand and in the other, Joe. Yeah, it's 44-1. It's funny.
Yeah. I love how he said the Lakers are going to go on a 45 to nothing run during the game yesterday. Yeah, that was not happening. I do like the Steel Sport comment there, Kurt. I do thought that was real good. Yes, reference to yesterday's show. So, absolutely.
Yeah, and Gerald, I really need an explanation here. So, in the 11 years
Mhm,
that Jeannie Buss has had primary ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers, she's at the helm of the ship.
mhm.
They've How many times have they made the playoffs? Not the
Well, that's what
play-in,
I remember.
playoffs.
Remember when we talked about this? I've brought this up, and I get criticized for it a lot because we talked about, yes, they have the one title. Yes, they have the one title, but we're going to include what? It's 12 seasons now. Is that roughly? Okay, so what is it? 4 and 8, or is it 5 and 7?
Oh, I think it's 4-8.
4 and 8.
I
So
think it's
four.
4-8. So, yeah, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
No
19.
playoffs.
Yeah,
It's 18 to 19, no
19,
playoffs. Then 19 to
19,
20 was
20.
the title run. Yeah.
2021 is play-in.
Mhm.
21, 22 missed the playoffs. Last year, play-in. I'm sick of being in the play-in. Like
Well,
the
2021 team, that was just a regular. That was the year.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was
That
just a
was
7. Yeah,
playoffs. That
that
was just
just said
playoffs.
7 seed. Yeah,
That's where we were
yeah, yeah,
leading.
yeah. So,
Unfortunately, Anthony
okay,
Davis
so
got hurt.
twice. But come on, man, twice. And only one of those times where you have home court advantage. That's not the Laker way. It's just not. It's not what we're used to. That is kind of like the Atlanta Hawks or the Houston Rockets or the Orlando Magic. That in that saying, like in 12 years, you make the playoffs 3 times, and maybe once you're a top 3 seed. That that's not that that doesn't signify stability, Gerald, and success. And it doesn't tell me that Jeannie wants to win. It just doesn't. I keep hearing this from Laker fans. I keep hearing it. And I'm saying evidence. Show me the evidence that she wants to win. There
You mean
did
fully commit to winning? How about that? Fully commit to winning.
Okay, fully commit to winning
Does that
because
sound
we
better?
that sure,
Okay.
because I don't think um you know bluffing Ty Lue was a stupid move.
Mhm.
completely stupid, Gerald. There, first of all, there was no reason to pull that bluff. He wanted the job. He wanted the job. It's not as if he didn't want the job. Ty Lue wanted the job. They just they just bluffed him, and then when he didn't bite, then they tried to pull the carpet underneath his feet. He said, "Okay, I'll go across town." And Gerald, how many times has Balmer or that front office pulled a boner move or decided that they were going to change up midstream? It's been like 3 straight years for Ty Lue, and Ty just figures it out. Takes him sometimes up to a month at the most, but he figures it out. Ham Ham couldn't find his way through a Twinkie factory in the dark. Um, this guy is he's an idiot. He's an idiot on the court, and I'm tired of the Lakers having idiots for coaches. I'm not calling Vogel one, but yeah, Ham was one. I can I consider Luke Walton one. I mean, let's face it,
I don't want to
Luke.
call Ham an idiot. I just think he's a dart thrower, and he's throwing a lot of darts, and nothing is sticking. The Lakers just don't have players. They have
But
players that regressed, and they're just not playing well on either one side of the ball or the other, and he's just not finding the right combinations. I understand in-game tacticians. We talked about this before. He's really been poor on. He gets outcoached quite a bit, like he did the other night against Memphis. I mean, that zone that Taylor Jenkins threw out him at the fourth quarter. That was absolutely a brilliant move, and it just befuddled Ham. He had no answer for it. I understand that, but I'm not
so
calling him an idiot. I don't want to call him an idiot like that.
I
That's
well,
that's
I will
okay.
call him an idiot because
And just your opinion, absolutely, you're
he
entitled.
he he exemplifies intellectual disability. That's
Okay.
that's the definition of an idiot on the court. On the court, he's an idiot. Intellectual disability. Gerald, do you think it's smart or logical or even pragmatic to have Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt on the court with LeBron James and
At the
Anthony
same
Davis?
time, no.
He does that, and he's done that incessantly. That's an idiot. That's an idiot.
Okay.
That's an idiot. I can show him the data sheet with Vando and Cam on one side, and then like Rui and Austin Reeves or Prince on the other side, and it's completely night and day. So like, he is more of I like certain players, so I'm gonna and again Pat Beverly. I'm gonna go back to it,
I just don't think he's a very good coach. That's
but
my thing.
but
I don't think he's an idiot. I just don't think he's a very good coach. I'll leave it at that.
okay, Gerald, do you remember
I
when
don't
you
think he
were
should be the coach of the Lakers, and I'll leave it at that.
Gerald, do you remember in kindergarten you did shapes?
Yes.
Okay. So eventually the stupid kid figures out that the circle can't go in the square. I mean, we all had one in class. I mean, it wasn't me, it wasn't you, but we all saw it. That kid was Ham because he's trying to he's trying to make forks into spoons, and he's trying to make spoons into forks. Vando is what he is. He is fully cooked. He's not a good offensive player. He shouldn't even be looking to have easy um
He's not a good
uh,
coach, and I'm not going to disagree with you there at all. At all. I just don't.
I
I just don't like to, call him an idiot. I think
you know
that
what I would do right now, Gerald? And they're not going to do it. But you know what I would do right now? If I was Plinka, here's what I would do.
Mhm.
I would wait the next week. If the Lakers
And people
don't
got to be saying defending Gerald's defending him. I still want him to be fired, so I don't know
no,
how Gerald is defending.
Gerald's just not willing to call him an idiot. That's
Yeah,
fine. That's
yeah.
I
I
am.
think he's a bad coach, but I
I
don't think
am.
he's an
I
idiot.
am. I'll call him an idiot on the court. I don't care. Um, But here's what I would do if I was Rob Pelinka right now. I would have a meeting with Jeannie. I would say, Jeannie, look, it's not working out with Darvin. Like I know for and I didn't buy the fact that somehow Jeannie has a soft eye for Darvin Ham, and that's why she's letting him like breathe a little bit. Baloney, baloney. Don't buy it for a second, Jeannie. I would bring her into the office to say, look, if we don't go 8-2 over
Shut
the
up,
next
Joe, by the way. Shut
if
up,
we
Joe. I'm
if
not
we don't
defending Darvin Ham. Shut
if
up.
we don't go 8-2 over the next 10 games, then this is what's going to happen. We need to bring in new blood. So here's what I'm suggesting.
Now, I will
Darvin
call Joe an idiot. That I have
Dar,
no problem. Joe is an
Darvin
idiot.
Darvin Ham is relieved of his coaching duties, and I call up the phone and I ask Rajon Rondo, do you want to coach the Lakers right now? Yes or no? My guess is he says yes, because there is no way, Gerald, that you're going to bring in another has been hack like Doc Rivers.
Because I won't call Darvin Ham an idiot, although I want him to be fired and I think he's a bad coach, because I won't call him an idiot on a personal level. Alan says I'm being a traitor.
This the Lakers the Lakers locker room needs an enema, to quote to quote Joker from the
Good
Batman.
movie.
They need an enema,
Good movie.
big time. And that is resulting from the lack of cohesion and stability. And that is a result of the guy at the top, Darvin Ham. So again, if I was Palinka, I would bring Jeannie in and I would bring the rest of the ownership into a room, and I would say the Lakers need to go 8-2 over the next 10 games in order for us to think that they're sort of righting the ship. Short of that, you relieve Darvin Ham of his duties and you get on the phone with somebody like Rajon Rondo. What do you got to lose, Gerald? If you go 5-5 over the next 10, guess what your record is? You're 23-24, played 47 games, you have 35 games left. What do you got to lose? Unless you think along the same lines as, say, you know, eternal pessimists or pragmatists, that there's no way in hell that that Ham can turn this ship around, so we'll just let him walk the plank at the end of the season. But even that is a little tenuous, because again, they're cheap. They're cheap. They're the morons, and I'm calling them morons. Linda Rambis, you're a moron. Kurt Rambis, great player, loved you as a Laker. You were a horrible coach, Kurt. Nobody wanted to play for your ass. Nobody wanted to play for your ass because your offensive philosophy was like boiled chicken and rice with no sauce. It's just there. You're whack. Your whole system's whack. And Palinka, what the hell have you ever accomplished in your life other than being a professional jackass? How many friends have you made, Rob, since you became a GM? Not many. But this is what happened. This is what happens when um you have idiots in charge, Gerald. There is no stability in this organization. None. None. Look, the signing of LeBron aside, Gerald, did you think that Jeannie Buss and this front office was heading in the right direction?
When would you say that?
Well, like
Before
I'm calling
the AD
so
trade or
I'm calling certain people idiots here. Luke Walton was an idiot. Luke Gerald, Was Luke Walton the best assistant coach on the Golden State Warriors?
Luke
Serious?
Walton was
No,
gifted.
Gerald, answer the question. Was Luke Walton the best assistant coach on that
Allow me to
Warriors
finish,
staff?
my friend, and then I will answer your question. Don't give me the Joe stuff here, okay? Because we're good friends. And I will say, when it comes to Luke Walton, he was gifted that Golden State team. That's what got him the job. Let's not beat around the bush. He was gifted that Golden State team. He went on that 23-2 run or whatever gaudy record that he had. And that's how he got his job with the Los Angeles Lakers. And we saw exactly how bad of a coach he was. And then he saw again in Sacramento how bad of a coach he was. So
But
I think
Gerald,
that answered the question.
yeah,
Joe, kiss my butt.
but as bad as he was, Gerald, after 30,
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Yes, I don't know. See, I will say we've got an idiot, and that is Joe. There you go. Absolutely. And Div X-Ray says I'm 100% accurate.
But Gerald, after 34 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Luke Walton wasn't 17-17. He was actually 20-14. So if we're saying Luke Walton was gifted that job, Luke Walton did more with less than Darvin Ham is.
That's true. And then,
and that's saying
LeBron got hurt,
lot.
and then we all know what happened from there on that Christmas Day, and it went all downhill from there. But we saw what happens once they got everything back together, and it just wasn't a pretty sight. And then we saw in Sacramento how I think we saw in Sacramento truly his true colors as a coach. That he's just
So like I really want the Lakers to turn this around, Gerald, but it's LeBron.
Well, that's the question. Will they turn it around?
LeBron is 39 years old. He is not 33 anymore. He doesn't have the booster rockets are gone. All right, the booster rockets are gone. This isn't the 2018 Cavs. This isn't the 2014 Heat. I'm gonna pull up something here, Gerald. But if you want to move on to the next topic, I have something that'll be interesting.
Well, no, I just want to say that I can't call a guy an idiot who convinced, conned, whatever you want to say, the Lakers into hiring him to a multi-year contract worth several $1 million. I don't know how you can really call him an idiot. You can still call him a bad coach, which I do. You can still want him to be fired, which I do. But I don't know how much of an idiot you would really call him, because he's making a whole ton of money that the Lakers are going to have to deal with.
Okay.
Whether or not they fire him or not.
Do you know for a fact that Luke Walton negotiated his own contract?
I don't know who knew. I would assume that would not be in his best interest. I would assume he would have gotten an agent, but then again,
I don't think Luke Walton's smart enough to do that, Gerald. So,
well,
I mean,
he was being paid on that. He's been paid 2 NBA contracts.
His agent wasn't an idiot, but he is.
Yeah. Again, I'm just saying that you can refer to him as an idiot. I don't want to refer to him as an idiot. I think that's a personal attack and a level that I don't want to go to.
I said idiot on. Oh my goodness!
But as far
idiot
as
on
coaching,
the court,
on the coach. Well, that I'll never. Yeah, but that I will 100% agree with you on it. He's a bad coach. I told you that. People say, but people are using in our chat. They're using. See, the thing is, the chat. You get seduced by the chat. The chat just says the word idiot, and they use as general. Joe is out there just trying to throw gasoline on the fire. He's just trying to say idiot for a reason. Again, I'm using Joe's vernacular here that he usually says in the show. You don't want to go into personal attacks on him, his family, or anything like that. You always want the best for people in their lives, but on the court. Yeah, Darvin Ham's a bad coach. I've not said otherwise. Darvin Ham has made mistakes. He's a terrible tactician. He cannot, he's just a rah-rah guy that unfortunately the rah-rah has up and left as far as the Los Angeles Lakers. I still am asking that, and the reason why we're doing this show and doing this episode, my friend, is can the Lakers still turn around? They still have time. If you looked at it on paper, they still have time. If you looked at it, they still have several home games left this season. They still have an opportunity to turn things around. There are teams mired in the same kind of malaise that the Los Angeles Lakers are currently in. You've got Houston, Utah, Golden State, Phoenix, all of these teams are in disarray in some form or fashion. They are not living up to expectations in some form or fashion. So the Lakers still with a good run here, because they've really had a pretty hard schedule on the front part, on the 2023 part of the schedule, still has a chance to right things. Am I 100% convinced that they will? No, absolutely not from what I've seen so far. And
No,
that's again, we take it back to Darvin Ham, who on the floor, you could say, has done some pretty idiotic things. I just don't want to call him on a personal level an idiot by all means. And it sounds like you're
well,
not either.
well, no, I'm not. I'm not from a personal standpoint. I will say this though: when Darvin Ham is projecting a lot of hostility at the fans,
All right,
I mean,
those are idiotic statements that he makes.
and yeah, and I'm gonna push right back. If you're gonna push uh our fans, I'm gonna push you right back. That was a jerk off thing to say by him, and it's not the first thing he said that was.
Don't ever question again. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. My apologies, Magic. This chat, this world famous chat. I was born in Inglewood, California. I am more Lakers blood. I am bleed purple and gold. Never question it. Never question. I'm more of a Lakers fan than Joe, than anybody out there ever will be. Okay? So don't ever question my Lakers loyalty. I just call it
No.
as I see it.
So
Okay?
Gerald,
So shut
Gerald,
up for anyone out there who has any sense of time out there, who has any sense of call to question my Lakers loyalty. Never
so,
question it. Ever question it. Because I've been a Lakers fan long before you were, and I will be long after you're gone. It's just
hmm
that simple. So shut the hell up and move on and go on to your Clipper sites that you love so much. But otherwise, if you're a true Lakers fan and you really want to go ahead and hear it how it is, and you want us to call it like we see it, because you guys lap up all the time what Joe says, no matter if it's right or wrong, you lap it up. You're going to lap up what we say because we tell the truth, we're honest, and we tell like it is. And we're Lakers fans true and true until the day we die and beyond. So shut up to anybody out there who questions my Lakers loyalty. This is like the third or fourth time that said it. And if you ever question my Lakers card again, I will show it to you, put it right up in your face, and then I'll stick it where the sun don't shine. So shut the hell up and get on out if you're not a Lakers fan. But if you are, welcome to the Lakers Fast Break. We're glad to have you.
and Gerald, I'm just ask. Yeah, that's great. So,
Oh,
um,
Dante, I love it. I love it when they call me out on it, and they think because they don't see common sense that everybody else can't see common sense. So that's okay. I love it. I love it. And I'll call them out on it because they aren't a true Lakers fan if that's the case. I am. And I know I am. Go ahead, Matching Man.
that was a great rant, by the way, Gerald.
Oh, I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. I
that
love
was
to it.
that was
I don't you
inspiring,
don't you don't
actually.
have to have Joe level rants with all the cursing and all that stuff. You can always get your point across.
So, Gerald, what I have on the screen, and I post it in the chat, is the
Kurt is
basically
awesome.
the the offensive efficiency of LeBron James led teams from 2003. So, Gerald, why don't we just scroll down and what's obvious to you? What stands out since 2003 about a LeBron James led offense, particularly with the Lakers? What
As far
stands
as,
out? What stands out to you? Just look at the graph. What stands out?
I mean,
He
my
hasn't
gosh.
he's only had one positive offensive season with the Lakers. One.
Yeah, because you
And
can see that was the plus 11 that you're seeing there. Yeah,
that's it. That
so
and a plus 11 too. I mean, if you look at some of the best teams he's had, we're going 12, 10. I mean, look, some of those Cleveland teams are bad, but look at the Lakers here. Like the worst Miami team he had was a plus 6. The worst Cavs team he had was a +3. The best Lakers team he's had is a +11. And look at this: 24th, 24th, 22nd, 23rd, 19th. The offense is bad. The offense is bad. Even with him scoring 25, 7, and 7, the offense is atrocious. And that has a lot to do with the coaching. So obviously, let's look at the past two Darvin Ham seasons. 19th, 23. Like, give me a break, man. Give me a break. And by the
I mean,
way,
that's by the way, what you say there, as far as with that's concerned, that always gives the LeBron detractors,
Mhm.
that type of deal. Oh, well, the on-off numbers say, LeBron is, there's a minus with him on the floor, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, okay, you say that, and I understand that all these GMs, going back to Cleveland, going back to Miami, the hardest part is trying to build a team around LeBron James and his strengths. And Joe, and and I give credit for Joe as much as I tease him about being an idiot. He's not an idiot in real life. Yes, one can't own his own successful company as he does without, having some intelligence.
so
Well, let me just finish this. He has said that, building around LeBron, you build around LeBron a certain way. And I give credit, you do. Has Rob Pelinka built that team correctly around him at all times?
no, 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 not at all. The only the only two players he's ever really targeted that he thought would be a fit for LeBron that were shooters was Max Christie, not a shooter, Gerald, not a shooter, and Danny Green. That's it. That's it. He's acquired or signed undersized non-shooting guards or non-driving guards. The team that Palinka put together in 21-22, Gerald, 2/3 of that team was out of the league at the end of the year. Like that was garbage. He put garbage around LeBron, and he got a lot of luck in 19 and 20 because he took a flyer on Dwight Howard. He didn't know that Dwight Howard was going to have a renaissance season, Gerald, but that's what a flyer is for. He also couldn't have anticipated that JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard would have that kind of chemistry and willing to sacrifice. That's also a key ingredient. That's also a key ingredient. It's almost as if Pelinka signs guys like players that remind him, like mercs, like straight up like mercenaries, only interested in themselves, not interested in sacrificing, not interested in making a commitment to be a good teammate. It's pretty simple to me. I
Mm.
mean, Westbrook, great. Russell Westbrook is one of the greatest players in NBA history, Gerald. He's also one of the most selfish players in NBA history. Thinks about himself first, second, and third. How could you have contemplated acquiring him was a good idea if what it takes to win a championship is team sacrifice? That would be the
Now
that,
Joe might have a point on that, and I apologize for interrupting. Joe might have a point because he said in the chat, I don't know if you saw in the chat about how LeBron and AD might have influenced that decision. Do you agree on that assessment or not?
pardon me?
As far as, remember when they had the big powwow together, as far as the big
Yep.
dinner before the sign. So do you think that LeBron had a lot of sway in getting him to Lakers? Because I think that's,
Yeah.
I think Rob, might give him a pass on that. Although if I'm Rob and I'm told by LeBron comes in the door, I said, you know what, I'd like to get Westbrook on the team. I'd have to tell him, LeBron, uh, I might have to walk off the job, but can I give you a tape of the bubble of that second round between the Houston and the Lakers? Do you really take a look at this? Take a look at this for 10 minutes. I'll give him a thumb drive. Give him a take. Take a
I
look at
you
this.
know what
You,
I hear what Joe is saying. Gerald, I gotta be honest, that whole trade smells of Genie Bus. It smells of Genie Bus.
that he went
And
higher than the Rob, and then he went straight to Genie. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. That's what it smells like. I smell a rat. I smell a rat there. Um but again, like of all like we saw that image of the championship. Like there's that image of four Lakers in the paint. Well, Westbrook is like Gerald, you've talked about, you've emphasized that image as kind of summing up who Westbrook kind of is when it comes to the playoffs. And you made a concerted effort to acquire that player while dismantling your depth. For what? That was robbing Peter to pay Paul.
And you're
All
still,
that
as Joe says, paying for it today. And I'll
well
give
that
Joe for
that
saying that.
and you know what, Gerald? At any point in time during those discussions, Jeannie Buss could have put her foot down and said, "No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this." And again, I'm pointing to evidence here. You people out there who come on the show in the chat or in the comments, you leave your little comments there and say, "Well, yeah, Jeannie wants to win. Jeannie wants to win. Jeannie wants to win." You're wrong. Jeannie wants to win. If Jeannie wanted to win, she wouldn't have acquired Russell Westbrook. The reason why Jeannie acquired Russell Westbrook is because LA loves superstars. Her little clique, chic clique, they like talking amongst themselves during the game. They're not actually watching the game, but they like to be entertained a little bit. And so of course, Russell Westbrook is a name. That's all he is. He's a name now. One once a great player, not anymore. That's the issue with Jeannie. Jeannie is less interested in winning than she is in getting attention, guys. Just deal with that. She is an attention grabber. That's what she thinks makes the Lakers work rather than actually a functioning stable organization.
And there's been times where I said, well, you know what? You cannot be around the product for so many years and not know basketball. But when it comes to that, if that's the case, and once again, it is the Lakers fast break. Magic Man Sean Grice is here along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. Uh, if that's the case, maybe we have to question how much basketball knowledge is. But just again, you're around the product so much of your life, and to not know what we as observers, or actually, I should say, a percentage of the observers knew at that time. I'm going to pat myself on the back till my dying day that I saw immediately that that was a bad move. And yeah, I don't want to tell that story for the 500th time about that
Look,
day
and
about
Gerald,
the day when I described it. But yes, I will just say that
so Gerald, when the season is over
Mhm.
and LeBron is deciding whether or not he wants to become a Laker, are the Lakers going to draft Bronny James, Gerald, just to satisfy a 39-year-old LeBron James? Because guess what,
There
Gerald? Guess what? The Miami Heat did that once. We were all watching the draft, and Nor shout out Norris Cole. Norris Cole had a great March Madness, Gerald, but there is no way Norris Cole was going to be a starting caliber point guard in the NBA. Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But what did LeBron write on draft night, Gerald? Ooh, I love that Norris Cole. And who did the Heat draft? Norris Cole. Did Norris Cole help the Miami Heat win a championship?
not really. No.
No, he did not.
I've already said, I've already been on record. I don't think Bronny is ready for the NBA. My God, he's just been in a few games. His high was what, 10? I don't know. It might be higher now, but I mean, you're talking about a kid that's just barely played a few games in
So,
college.
so
He's not
Ro-
ready
yeah,
for
Ryan,
for NBA
Ryan
basketball.
Romero, Ryan Romero. I got something to point out to you. Do you know who was earmarked to be the Lakers GM, Gerald? because he had been in the organization for so long.
Who was that?
It was Ryan West.
True. That's a good point. He had, obviously the lineage, but also as well the ties
He put
and
the time in.
yeah,
Yeah,
the time.
and he had a steady hand in why the Lakers in those mid 2010s were able to work with what they had. Like they had to work within the means that they had, and that's what they asked Ryan West to do as he
But let me
served.
ask you this though. Can I ask you this, Hunter? Why didn't he get the job, or why hasn't he gotten the job yet in Gold State? And Mike Dunleavy Jr. got the job after.
I thought, if I'm not mistaken, what I believe
Is
he went
West
to
still
the
with
Heat.
the Warriors?
I thought he went to the Heat, Jill.
Is
I
he with
thought,
the Heat now? Okay.
yeah, I thought Pat Riley
I don't know
hired him
because
for the
cause
Heat.
he's got, I know who he's married to, the famous golfer, and I thought they got married and stayed on the West Coast as far as it's concerned. So I'll have to check on that. But yeah, if that's the case, all right, well, we'll see what happens. But he has that lineage, so you never know. He may get an opportunity at some point in time. But let's get back to the Lakers before we head on out, my friend. It's been a great conversation, a spirited conversation with my brother in crime, Magic
Mhm.
Man Sean Grice. Truly appreciate him. It's good to have you back, Magic Man. We're coming back. We've got opinionated people all over the place. People are calling us this and that and this and that. And hell, we've even got Joe in the comments. So there you go. Absolutely. Can't get any better than that. But it is also as well the Lakers fast break. The Lakers, again, before we talk about the two-way deals and the fact that, guess what, Magic Man? JHS has been such a great player on the Lakers. He's now playing in the G League. I think he had just had his debut today, as a matter of
Mhm.
fact. So when it comes right down to it, my friend, the Lakers obviously need to go ahead and start winning sooner rather than later to get back in the thick of things. Hopefully by the end of the year, still a fifth, sixth, seventh seed in that range. I think that would be, after all is said and done and how bad it got, a move similar to what they did last year might be inevitable. Now,
Mhm.
is it the best thing for the Lakers? No, because then you're asking LeBron and AD to work overtime again to get to the play-in, and that's not the greatest thing in the world. But they still have time in January and February to get themselves in a better position. And then who knows what happens at the trade deadline or beyond. So I ask you, my friend, there's still a lot of home games on the horizon for the Lakers. They can make up this space. With Phoenix, I believe that is just lost against, or about ready to lose to the Clippers because they're down by 20 with about 7 minutes left. And I don't think the Clippers will lose that lead like Golden State did against Denver the other night when I called it. Your thoughts, my friend, on if the Lakers can actually right the ship, even with Darvin Ham coaching it in the not too distant future? I mean, they did it once before. Could they do it again?
I mean, sure, anything's possible. I mean, you did it before, sure, you could do it again. I just don't think you have you don't I don't think you have the right thoroughbreds with Darvin Ham to do that. I mean, because the book is already out on this team though. That I think Denver exposed a lot of flaws with this team, Gerald, last year, and we're not. I hate we hate going backwards, but for God's sakes, it's essential. It's not all that dissimilar from that roster. I think the book's out. Um, he's just Darvin Ham is just completely uninventive, completely lacking the ability to make adjustments on the fly. He's not a good decision maker. He's not a quick decision maker. There's a myriad of issues that the Lakers would have to overcome internally, not externally, internally, in order to accomplish the goal. There's just too many factors preventing this team from trying to win a championship internally. Internally. Externally is something completely different because you have 7 or 8 teams who uh, think they have a chance to win a title, and that's a mountain of another problem. I don't see it with Ham. I don't see it. Now, of course, they could prove us wrong, and I mean, kick us in the face, Gerald. And we'll have to pick up our teeth like they're chiclets, and they can laugh at us. Hey, we're all for that. I'd be all for that. Darvin Ham kind of has an intense dream where he learns how to coach and adjust. I'm all for that. I just don't think that the Lakers have the right like I keep saying this, know your personnel. Like like know thyself. Marcus Aurelius, right, Gerald? In the NBA, know thy personnel. And like you said, he has difficulties blending what he thinks the Lakers should play like versus the personnel he has. It's almost like this. You have Gerald has all the ingredients to bake a cake, right? He's got the flour, he's got the eggs, he's got the chocolate. Then you give Darvin Ham the ingredients to make a cake. But instead of following the recipe that Gerald follows to make a cake, Ham decides, well, I don't really need flour and eggs. Eggs are a luxury. I could use something else. And when you bake that monstrosity and it causes a 4-alarm fire, which is kind of what happened last year, you don't know how to bake a cake. He doesn't know how to bake a cake.
I will say, Ryan, thank you for the comment. That really made my day. Truly
It did,
appreciate
Ryan.
it.
Thank you. I
Yes,
saw that
thank you.
too. Thank you, Ryan.
Much love to you and much love to everybody out there. Kurt, Dar- Darvin Ham is so bad. He wrote the jokes for Joe Coy in his monologue on the Golden Globes. Oh, Kurt, I'm telling you, you're a piece of work. We got much love for you. Alan, yes, I know you've been trying to push some buttons and all day, but we truly appreciate, as always, you being here. Div X-Ray, everybody else out there, cannot thank you enough for doing so. Darren, Intel Wild in the chat. Do you want to give everybody an update before we talk about the two-way guys? Magic Man. South Bay Lakers did win tonight over the Ontario Clippers. I knew you were excited to find that out, Magic Man. 120 to 115. They're now 3-2 on the season. Colin Castleton, you and I are going to see this name again constantly in there. What about Colin? 20 points, 16 rebounds, 3 block shots. The problem is you see the leap between the G League and the NBA because he'll go in, let's say, against an Alperen Şengün, and he'll look like a guy that shouldn't even have any excuse to be on the floor, which is sad because you can see the leap. Colin Castleton, great numbers. And then it doesn't translate yet. Now, mind you, you put a lot of it together like Cam Whitmore at Houston. He went down to the G League, played several games for them, really did well, killed it in the G League, and then has translated that to some really starting to, as Joe and I had talked about and thought that he's starting to play really well coming off the bench in a crowded wing team such as Houston. Jalen Hood-Schifino, who I know everybody is on pins and needles talk about, actually didn't do so bad today. In the win, 20 points, 7 assists. Actually made a 3-pointer. Not too shabby. Shot well. Maxwell Lewis still looking like a deer with the headlights on, man, my friend, because 10 points, 6 turnovers, still not a pretty sight from what I'm seeing in the box office. But the Lakers did get some output from the bench guys, and yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing. Scottie Pippen Jr. still looks like he's not an NBA-ready player. It's just, yeah, that's not a pretty sight there. But when it comes right down to it, Magic Man, I wanted to go ahead before we head on out and talk about the 2 new acquisitions. Again, Dylan Windler, not Dylan Swindler, Dylan Windler. He was signed to a 2-way on Sunday, and today the team signed Skylar Mays. Both have had several cups of coffee with several teams, even this season. I'd like to see both get a chance because Skylar Mays is a backup point guard. You never know. He's got to shoot better. He has a normal career shooting percentage in the 30s. He's been shooting 26% on the season from behind the arc, which is kind of disappointing. But
He
I'm
had that
hoping that
really good game against us, though, Gerald.
yeah, that's always the case. So let's go ahead and sign him. It's not always the case. He had a really good game against us, so let's go ahead and sign him. It's not worth it. It's worth a shot. He's on a two-way. You can get him 30 games, 31, 30, about
Or
30,
I
31.
think
Yeah,
30. Yeah.
yeah, 30 games that here on out. Dylan Windler, same thing, 30 games he can play of the last 45, which again, you should be able to see what you got, or you can bump him up because the Lakers still have an open slot for an actual year-long contract if they really pan out. So my question to you is, do you integrate them into the team? Because Windler last night, DNP, 22 points, 33 rebounds, coming in hot. A hot player you might want to throw in there, still might be able to go ahead and just play above his head for a little while. Darvin Ham sits him down. DNP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what the big difference was between uh Darvin Ham and Eric Spoelstra, Gerald?
Mm-hmm.
Spoelstra would play Dylan Windler because he played Hassan Whiteside.
Oh, yeah. They
He,
pull a
he
rabbit out of the
played
hat
he
all the
played
time.
he played Hassan Whiteside. And again, he
And they'll be
doesn't.
signed by the Lakers a year later.
You're right. Yeah, I give him a little bit of time. Absolutely played productively. Should see what he has to bring. That being said, Willie, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Jeeves is saying they're practice players. That would be great theory if they practiced. So you don't know. I mean, we always talk about in the NBA how much they do not practice anymore. I know Joe always has an issue with it.
Mhm,
And I agree with him on that sense.
mhm.
We agree on more things than people, say we do. So
Yes, you do.
yes. So but I'd say give him a chance. I mean, you give Max Christie a chance every now and then. You give the high scoring output duo of Jared Vanderbilt and Cam Reddish,
Oh God.
constant chances. Although I will admit, Cam Reddish did play good defense yesterday. He really did. You have to admit he played good defense yesterday. But taking it to the basket, it's just an adventure with those guys. There was, I don't think it was last week. I think they were leading a fast break and I thought it was going to have a heart attack. Really, absolutely. It was that bad for me because those two just, I don't know the basics. I don't know where the basics just up and went with them. And I bet you if we played them in, you and I on a, or just you saw them in a regular pickup game, they would dominate and they would look like basketball players on both ends of the floor.
Oh,
Yet
Gerald.
somehow it just does not translate on an NBA level for them on the offensive end. Just does
Um,
not. And I know Reddish hit a couple of 3-pointers yesterday, but it just does not look good.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you could play, there was a. Have you ever seen the driving instructing video, Red Asphalt, Gerald?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that music at the beginning. I would play
Or
that
we get
with.
into, let me show you, let me go ahead and get you the tapes, The Faces of Death. How about that? Do you remember that? The Faces of Death? half the
Play
stuff
that.
was half the stuff was made up, folks. Half the stuff was like real footage. Half the stuff was made up. Just want to let you know. So,
Yeah, it was like a really bad. It was like a really bad Dick Wolf production. Gerald's right.
that's funny.
Anyway, if you could play that stupid music at the beginning of Red Asphalt with Vando and Cam running a fast break, I mean, it's like the Keystone Cops, Gerald. So when Gerald's talking about give Mays and Willer a shot, yeah, you might as well. I mean, you're playing other Keystone Cops, so might as well give those two a shot. You don't know. You might get you might get a shot in the arm for one of them.
I
You
mean,
don't know.
if people want to play Max a lot, why not play Max more? Why not at this point?
Mhm.
Rodell is. I don't know what's happened to Rodell. We may have finally pissed him off, but he hasn't been here the
Well,
past
you
few
know
days.
something? I think
But his
I think
favorite player, Max Christie, why not play him a little bit more? These are options that the Lakers have tried.
Gerald
If Darvin
Vanderbilt
Ham's
and
going to throw
Cam
darts,
Reddish are the cardio bros. They should just be like when that beautiful woman is doing like the exercise tape, like
mhm.
in, out, up. Like Jared Vanderbilt and Cam should be in the background because they're like the cardio bros anyway. I mean, uh, yeah, Reddish hits a couple of threes like every like once every time you see Haley's Comet, and Vando's good for a layup once every 4 games. But I
To
mean,
answer, oh, there was a question to chat. What is his career high? 21 this
yeah,
game. I have no idea how he got it. Have no
yeah,
idea how he got it.
yeah.
Maybe the defense just like walked out of the key and just said, "There you go, Jared." I don't know. I honestly don't know, but it's ugly. It's
It's
absolutely
ugly.
ugly. It's absolutely. They are so good on the defensive end, and yet they are the exact opposite on the offensive end. I just have not been able to wrap my head around it. And a lot of
Nope.
people talk about what they saw at Cam Reddish at Duke, and remember we were talking about getting him on the team. The people like were on Twitter, got to get him on Lakers, 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 Lakers. He surprised me with his defense because that's something that, according to
Hmm.
the defensive ratings, which we talked about, and what I saw in video, I never really saw that he had that. Really was adept at one-on-one defense or getting steals. Period. That he was that good at that. But the problem is he just cannot put it. You cannot have a starting shooting guard averaging 5 points a game. It just does not work. It's not going
No,
to work. Yeah.
no, no, you can't. That will not work on any level.
Yeah.
Even in high school, that won't work.
It's so funny right now that Phoenix, with its vaunted, they finally, Sean, have their vaunted 3-guy lineup. They're 3 stars. And they
Mhm.
have Grayson Allen, who, they got in that trade and thought he was going to be one of those missing ingredients. And Yusuf Nurkic,
That's the Phoenix Suns right now.
and they're getting their butts kicked right now, the Clippers. So again, the time is now for the Lakers to right the ship. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to say if they are. I think that there's a chance, but again, it's up to Darvin Ham to coach better, to coach smarter, to coach not like an idiot per se, and do
Hmm.
and be better. Because this team, you got to find the right combinations. All you need to find is like 1 or 2 combinations that really click during the course of the game. We're not talking about rocket science here. Just 1 or 2 combinations that really click. Stop with the 5-out offense for one of the worst shooting teams in the NBA. Get back to what you need to get, Magic Man. This isn't rocket science, like I said. Transition, good defense, rebound the ball for once, rebound, and stop letting the other team get it, and get to the free throw line. Do what worked well for you on your way to the playoffs last year. It's not really that hard to figure out. Yet you want to, they came into the season with Darvin Ham 5-out, or we're going 4-out. And I'm seeing Anthony Davis parked out at the 3-point line all the time, taking 3-pointers. Z is swearing, go take, is taking 3-pointers. How well has he done lately on 3-pointers, Sean?
They've been in the toilet, Gerald.
Gee, I wonder who called that.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
And just for entertainment purposes,
Rest in peace, Andre Bauer.
rest in peace.
Yes, such a great actor. Yes,
And that's Darvin Ham's coaching right now, ladies and gentlemen.
it is a stage 5, absolutely. But I agree with you, Magic Man. Again, the time is now for the Lakers. I don't think that as much as we wanted him out the door, I don't think his job was close enough to it. I think that, the speculation that our show, Empire Jeffs, the regular media out there, I don't think they were close to letting him go. That's why I think he gives those statements, Magic Man, that he does. The I'm solid. The why are fans holding on to every single game? Wins or losses. It's a marathon. Blah 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 blah. Or make excuses. I don't think if you and I had that we had talked to the management and or owner, and they told me everything's cool. Don't even worry about the media. Don't worry about that. That's the kind of statements we might, very brazen statements like that. That may be something we may be akin to as well. That tells me that they don't have plans to let him go just by the fact that he's saying all this stuff. Unless LeBron decides to go up to management and change the fact like he did with David Blatt, that could change it entirely. But I don't think it was that close. Do you?
No, I don't. I agree with you.
I'm not saying it shouldn't been. I'm just saying it. I don't think in reality it was that close.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not. And I agree overall with the totality of what you said. It seems more than unlikely. It seems improbable at best that
Great
Ham.
question, M24. Great question. I'll let Magic Man go first. Question is for our audio audience out there. What grade would you all give Darvin so far through this marathon?
Oh, if he's solid, then he's a solid. He's a solid C student. So I'd give him a solid C minus.
I would give him a D minus because this team, you come into it coming off the Western Conference Finals. Mind you, the players themselves, through either injury or have through just sheer regression, haven't done the job. But I think a better coach would have had this team in at least a better position. I think that, people talk about has Darvin Ham cost us games. Let's say 3, 4, 5 games, I'd say. And I think that's the difference between, even with the regression in play from some of the Lakers and the injuries, Magic Man, I still think we would be in a, let's say a 5th through 7th slot as opposed to a 9th through 11th slot right now. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. No, it does, Gerald. Yeah,
Ryan's kinder than I am. I got a D minus for him. You got a D plus, but yeah, they're not high grades. They're
not high grades at all.
Jeeves is an F plus.
I get as far as the rotations and his communicative style, his interpersonal skills. Can't argue with Jeeves on those. Can't argue with them.
Div X-Ray's got a Z plus.
Yeah,
That's I think Zangerstein would give that grade.
Joe, there is no H. H is in the periodic table, Joe. It's not a grade.
Alan would say F minus. If they were Detroit, I'm going to tell you, I think.
Can you get an F minus? I've never gotten an F minus.
No, you can't get. Technically, you can't get below an F.
Right, I thought so. Yes.
Yes, but I think Monty in Detroit has done the worst job of coaching this year.
Terrible. Yeah.
I think anybody out there, I think Monty has done the worst. I think Pops has done I don't think he's done a good job in there, especially with Victor Wembanyama. I mean, Victor Wembanyama is having a pretty good season. Maybe not the spectacular rookie season that a lot of people, he's having a pretty damn good season. And they're still, the way it is. So I think that those two are the worst. I think Darvin Ham is not that high up. I would give him a D minus.
And you know something, Gerald? Let's be honest. Like
for Dante for citizenship, there you go. You unsatisfactory.
It's yeah. They had Derek White. Yeah, they had DJ Murray, but those guys really like Derek White got to spread his wings after he left the Spurs, not with them. That's why they traded him, and I would argue DeJounte, similar fate there. I think he was a great defensive player, was able to more spread his wings in a system with somebody like Trae Young. It's just been a while. Like, I'm going off on a tangent here, Gerald, but it's been a while since Pop and the Spurs have been able to develop backcourt players in the modern NBA. I mean, the last great backcourt player they had, Gerald, was freaking Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili.
But yeah, last year they finished up. They didn't have a good year, obviously, and that's how they got the #1 pick. But they were on target to win. They won more last year. They're on target to lose more this year, from what I'm seeing. yet you have the best rookie to come out of this class. Not saying Chet Holmgren, because Chet Holmgren, again, he came out of previous class, still might be rookie of the year, most likely will be rookie of the year,
Mm-hmm.
but he came a different class. But right now, Wembanyama is playing like the number one in his particular draft class. Yet you're a worse team with basically the same roster you had last year. That
Yeah,
to me is not a good coaching job at all.
yeah, no, I
Sorry,
mean,
Pops.
you would think that Wembanyama presence would only elevate that team, Jill, but turns out that even the most fantastic rookies hit a wall eventually. And yeah, like you said, he's had a pretty good season. I've thought. I think he'll finish second in
The rookie.
ROI voting.
Mhm.
But yeah, I agree overall. I mean that is not the perfect situation that the Spurs and or Wemby thought it was going to be.
Div X-ray, I think when it comes to Trey Young, and you'll see some Atlanta Hawks movement before the trade deadline. That season has totally gone awry, most assuredly. I think when it comes down to Trey Young, I think that conference finals run, much like maybe some people will say about the Lakers run, but it's different a little bit with the Lakers run because LeBron AD had already gone to a world championship. So it's a little different there. But that conference final run for Atlanta was fool's gold. And I think that a lot of flaws are out there. Trey Young as your number one guy comes with a lot of caveats. I mean, a lot of caveats that he can't give you quite what I'll compare, let's say, him to Steph Curry. He can't give you quite what you need at a guy that's being asked to do so much, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense, Gerald. And considering the fact that, let's be honest, Trey Young isn't 6'1". He's not 6 feet tall. He's likely 5'10" and a half. That's what I would call him. I saw him in college as well, and so did you. I never thought he was above 6 feet. Steph had the
Steph
um
is 6'3". Let's
3.
get
He's a legit 6'3", so that helped Steph getting around screens and being able to just hold his own eventually when he got a little stronger.
not as much anymore
More no, but I mean in his prime,
in his prime.
he got a little stronger. He wasn't as gangly and as you know um let's face it, he wasn't Pillsbury Doughboy like, but it was kind of like he was really skinny. Let's
Mhm.
just put it that way. And he was able to put some meat on his bones, and he was made a better defender for it. I agree with you. Trey Young is what he is. He's fully cooked at this point. You'd have to surround like the ultimate, and Gerald's right. Ultimately, the problem with Trey Young is that if you acquire him, you're sticking a finger in a dike and just creating a couple more holes that you'd eventually need to fill
I mean,
otherwise.
again, the DeJounte Murray idea that I put out there some time back before
Oh,
everybody
and
caught on to
yeah,
it.
and Div not only has his
It's not a
3-point
perfect
shoot,
answer.
yeah, his 3-point shooting is not only in the toilet. What's most concerning about Trey Young is that his true shooting percentage has tanked the last 2.5 seasons. If you're shooting under 60% for your TS percentage, especially as a guard, I question whether or not you have the requisite physical skills to manage or improve because Gerald, we saw it last year. One of the reasons why Reeves was able to establish himself as a pretty potent paint player was that A, he was able to finish in the paint, usually off contact. B, he had a little higher free throw rate, which helped his true shooting. Trey Young has problems now, not only with his 3-point shot, he's not getting the calls he used to get, Gerald, because again, he he took advantage of certain rules, right, Gerald?
Mhm.
He did, Harden did, and quite frankly, they're not falling for the flop. they're not calling the flop on Trae Young anymore. So
Yeah.
Trae Young is not getting the kind of calls that he used to get, and he hasn't been able to adjust. I I would be very wary
Him
about
and Harden
acquiring
were the
him.
most affected by it. And Darren, yeah, you got to give him credit. He did take him to the Eastern Conference, but I'm beginning to think, or at least look like that it may have been fool's gold on that assessment on that.
I
So
agree, Gerald. I agree. I mean, especially considering the
may.
fact,
I didn't say for sure,
well,
but may.
and especially considering the side of the bracket they were on, it was almost similar to what what the Trailblazers did when they got swept by the Warriors. They were able to take advantage of a bad bracket.
Well, Div, the worst one of all. I mean, I know you guys are going off on Atlanta for making that dumb move as far as making the trade that got them. Because remember, it also got them DeAndre Hunter, I believe, the next year after that, as far as that number one that they traded for it. In hindsight, that obviously, it wasn't a good move because
Hey,
Lucas.
Atlanta, we traded the rights to Luka Doncic for Trae Young and Cam
DeAndre.
Reddish.
No, I thought it was
Hey,
DeAndre Hunter. Was it Cam Reddish or
it
DeAndre
was
Hunter?
Cam Reddish.
It
It
was
was
Cam
Cam
Reddish?
Reddish.
Okay.
It was Cam
Oh, yeah.
Reddish. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that worked out. But the dumbest move of all during that assessment not only was the number one pick with Phoenix, but was the number two pick with
Yeah.
Sacramento and Vlade Divac, who I love immensely as a player. We'll always thank him for his time with the Lakers and always appreciate. And I was
Man, that's
when I
just
was a
like
kid
I
or
just
when I
feel
was a young
bad.
adult.
Yeah, I just feel bad for Marvin Bagley now that he's going
Yeah,
to be like the answer to one of the worst trivia questions of all time.
exactly. Him and Darko, but at least Darko has a world championship. And I digress. But when it comes down to it, you know, that's probably the dumbest of all. That year, that draft choice. I mean, we can harp all we want. Trae Young is still an all-star level player. He is not the transcendent player that Luka is. Uh, but then again, Lucas, still has to get to that higher level as well. He still has to have a team that's well. It could be this year. We don't know, but still has to get to that higher level. But I
Well, you
agree.
saw what
He
happened. You saw
he
what
is
happened.
substantially a
Yeah.
better player than Trae Young,
Saw
without.
what happened when you put shooters and a couple of other ball
Mhm.
handlers with Luca. He got within one game of an NBA Finals. So I think there's a path to chart that the Mavs could take. But again, Gerald, as we know, I mean Mark Cuban, um, and uh, see, I'd like to think that Nico Harrison is able to work independently of that schmuck. But I don't think that's the case. So schmucks do schmucky things, and even though he's a champion, he's still a schmuck. And I think unfortunately, Doncic is in the universe run by schmucks.
Yeah, and Doncic, his story I think is yet to be fully written. I think he will be put in a position at some point in time to play in the finals, and he's that type of guy that can get you over the top. I see it. Trae Young, I don't know. I'm not so
I
sure
think
on him.
Trey Young is at this point a complimentary player. Very good complimentary player. Not a superstar. I'm hesitant to even call him a star. Yeah, that he gets that marquee because of where he was drafted and kind of his ability once in a while to still shoot that 35 footer and make 6 out of 10 every once in a while. I consider Trey Young a complimentary player at this point. I don't think he's a star.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Magic Man Sean Grice. Thanks so much for listening. Truly appreciate it and watching as well. If you do have not yet, please, despite our misgivings at times, we want to go ahead and keep that flowing. And our insults to Joe and back and forth are going strong in the chat. The world's best Lakers chat room that's out there is the Lakers Fast Break. And I'm hoping that it will amuse you, and it has amused you for the past 90 minutes. But you know what, Joe, you're whatever you're talking about, the moisting and yeah, that's Joe just goes on and says these things. It just makes you just scratch your head, Magic Man. When he started talking about
Yeah.
singing in the shower the other night, I'm just like, okay, Joe. It's going off, man. Maybe that cold
I
medicine
think
isn't
I
work.
think I
Cold
think
medicine's working a little bit too well. There you go.
I
Yeah.
think Joe mixed some Robitussin with some whiskey.
Yes. Ox 1947 Div X Ray is Joe. Yes, Joe Sorrell, one and the same. But
By the way, don't take too much of that cough medicine, ladies and gentlemen. A little dab will do you, as Jack said from One
some
Flew Over the
people really
Cuckoo's Nest.
love that medicine. They love
It's not good. It's not good. You
it's
can,
what the
it's
what the
not good.
ones the what
I
some with a little bit of alcohol they use that as an excuse. They don't drink,
Yeah. Oh my
but
god.
then when they get a cold, oh man, load it up, man. Give me
Oh
some of that
man.
cold medicine.
Oh yeah, and just wait until you get nauseous off it, Gerald. That's lovely to see flying out of somebody's mouth, as I saw a couple of times. And by the way,
Well, I'm not considering
be
I'm gonna be honest
prepared.
with
Be
you, Magic Man.
prepared if you yeah.
I have done that in the past where I just
Okay.
you go to the store and you buy every single cold medicine you can and you try to take it because you just don't want that cold. You want it to go away. Yeah, it doesn't work. It didn't work. So
Mm-mm.
yeah,
No.
yeah, it doesn't work.
No. Stick with vitamin C
Well,
and
Joe looks like he's been sucking on Grandpa's old cough medicine. That's for sure.
shout out to Harlan Williams, great Canadian comedian. Um, Underrated, my opinion. But yeah, no, not really. I don't take cough medicine.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. This again goes off the rails all the time. Lakers in 5. Great to have you here. Go ahead and check out his channel. Also, as well, Lakers Corner, Empire Jeff TV. Also, as well, Larry Lakers Dribbling Chit Chat, and of course, the John McCalian channel and Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Please check out all those great channels if you can. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe ours as well. If you're watching on Facebook, thank you so much for as always for watching. Twitch and Twitter as well. Magic Man will be here tomorrow. It's going to be a busy day for me. I will be shuttling in and out the next few days between here, CES, and all over, but I'm still committed to going ahead and making sure we have something up and running for a pregame, a during game simulcast. That's been a big success. We had 1,300 views on our simulcast yesterday between the Lakers and Clippers. And of course, the post game. Of course, the best post game that's out there for the Lakers is right here at the Lakers Fast Break. But any last thoughts, my friend, before we head on out?
Joe, if you've never heard of lean before, I don't know what to tell you, but yes, cough medicine is popular amongst a certain group of weirdos.
How depressing was that when you heard that the ingredient in many cough medicines and cold medicines was found out to be earlier in 2023 to not be effective at all in doing what they market it to do?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They used to. I'm not surprised, Gerald. They used to actually put amphetamines in Coca-Cola bottles
Oh yeah.
once upon a time because they thought that would be a magic elixir. Ooh.
When Laker Tom started drinking it, you set me up on that one. Love you, Tom. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. So
Oh, I needed that, Gerald. Thank you.
always trying to do what I can to cheer you up, my friend. I
But
will
yeah,
say that.
no, I mean, no, yeah. I Final thoughts are, in just to summary, the Lakers have more in. So if the Lakers solve the internal problems they have without really cutting out their depth, which they don't really have, but okay. If they can do that, they don't carve up their depth, they don't carve up um, their guts. I think they can try and make a run that is dependent on everybody being on the same page. And I don't think that's the case. I think it's all smoke and mirrors, this come to Jesus moment. And we had an open film session. We were able to ju- you know, lovingly non-judgmentally critique one another. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Possible, but I just don't see it. I think that there needs to be some internal changes, and not just one or two, but multiple. Then I think you have an opportunity to stabilize what you have and then try and work on the external factors that are preventing you from winning a title, which, by the way, is a bigger issue than your internal problems.
I will say this though. Again, we're hoping for changes to be made, whether it's the coaching staff, general manager, whether it's changes to be made as far as trade is are concerned. I can just say 7 of the next 9 games, Magic Man, are at home. 7 of the next 9 games. In fact, one of those road games, one of the 2 road
Have to
games,
win at least 6 of them, Gerald.
is still at the crypt.
Hmm.
The other one is in Utah, as we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
There is
100%.
no better time to start padding some wins than now. And if it comes to Golden State, when we go to Golden State later this month, and you and I are still talking about a 500 team or below, then it's going to hit the fan. It's going to hit the fan, and it deserves to hit the fan because there's no excuse. I don't care if you wait for the trade deadline or whatnot. If you cannot start padding some wins over the next 9 games, you don't have any excuses left. And it's
No,
time to really
you
make
need.
some changes. And it's not just the players I'm talking about either.
No, I agree 100%, Gerald. I think the Lakers have to go at least 6-3 over the next 9,
Agreed.
which would put them at like 24-22, which, I mean, almost 50 games in. I agree with Gerald. That's, it's not great, but I mean, you're showing some light at the end of the tunnel there by being stringing together, some wins here. It's just they got to, like Gerald has said, they have to stack those wins. It can't be win 3, lose 2, win 4, lose 2, win 3, lose 4. You have to win 5. Maybe you lose 2, then you win 4 or 5. Then maybe you lose the next one and you win 3 out of 4. They have to start stacking wins and win streaks. There's no ties in basketball.
I will say this though, again, when it comes to the Lakers, when I mean is, and it was mentioned earlier in the chat by DivX Ray, hit the fan as in trade get picks. I mean as in fire Ham,
The,
as in make some
the,
trades and reach it because this team will not tank. I don't,
yeah.
I don't think you ever hear the words from
So
Genie
nuclear,
that this
nuclear.
team
No,
with
they're not
LeBron
gonna.
on, yeah, unless LeBron and AD get injured, fingers crossed for that, knock on wood, that
Yeah, it,
that they don't get hurt. But if they're healthy and the Lakers are still at 500 or below when they go to Golden State, yeah, it by then it
see,
should
and
be on the hot seat should be on fire for Darvin Ham.
sometimes perception is reality, Gerald. I mean, we talked about the other day how life sucks sometimes. I'm dealing with that right now. Sometimes perception is reality, and here's what it would look like if the Lakers decided to do that. You fired Ham, you're trading LeBron. So if I'm a superstar and I'm considering whether or not I want to go to, say, the Lakers or the Heat, I'm looking at the way Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra run their organization versus the way Pelinka and Buss run theirs, and they're willing to circle the drain on one of the 3 best players that ever lived for what? For like and what would you expect to get for, because you have to trade LeBron, who's 39, his contract. What do you hope to gain in traction in a trade? Because if you're on the other line of that phone with Rob Pelinka, would you say, "Yeah, Gerald, you know what? I hear you, Rob. You want a first round pick? Oh, I'll just give you a sweetener, an unprotected first round pick." I wouldn't offer an unprotected first round pick for LeBron James at 39 years old.
before we head on out, let's talk about the win for NV213 because he got a chance to see LeBron play in person and performed well. Let's go ahead for NV213 because we know you're a great part of what we do here at the Lakers Fast Break. Let's talk about how good and satisfying a win it was. So I know even in the win yesterday, when we were talking about the comments, it's like always comes with a caveat. But their defense again. When you get the Clippers who just lit up on the second of a back-to-back, they just lit up the Phoenix Suns for 138 to hold them to 103 points. Tells you that when this team wants to lock down, even with Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish, and then of course on the other end of the defense spectrum, Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. Even with that all of a sudden done, when they want to go ahead and put down lockdown D, my friend, they can do it. That's the one thing at times when they give you the energy, they can still do real well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's no questioning that.
But G's right. No points offense. I mean, 106 is not going to win you that many games in today's NBA. It'd be great for 1995, but yeah, not as great for 2024.
If you're not scoring at least 100, if you're not averaging at least 125 points a game, Gerald, you're behind the 8 ball already. Like and it's not just the points themselves; it's the way the points accumulate. A lot of the times it's a tsunami effect. So more often than not, teams like the OKC Thunder, Milwaukee, you could even throw Denver in there. They eat a lot in the paint, and it creates this seismic effect that is able to be positive for them because they end up like being
and he's trying to be very nice to Vando and Cam.
yeah.
And I credit him for that. But
Mm-hmm.
if MV213, you can't tell me you want to turn your eyes and look away when both of them have the ball trying to drive down the lane, or when LeBron sees them wide open and tries to send them a simple pass. You can't tell me it's not a pretty sight.
It's Charlie Brown, the football, Gerald.
Yeah. Woo! Yes, it's bad. It's ugly. So these guys, again, whatever they give you on the defensive end, in many cases they take away.
And Gerald,
so it's a really hard part to keep them out there in today's.
And let's be perfectly frank. Can you really can you win in the NBA with a strong defense and a bad offense versus if you had a strong offense and a bad defense?
It's so hard these days. I mean, we're seeing Indiana. Indiana is still they're 21-14-ish right now.
Yeah.
They just won tonight over Boston, and they're terrible on defense, but they try to outscore you. That's what they do. And with Tyrese Halliburton now with a hamstring strain, we don't know how bad it is. Could be out for weeks. That's going to be a different story, but they try to outscore you, my friend, and they're successful at it. The Lakers, again, when you're talking about having that defense, you still have to score a requisite amount of points.
And Gerald,
you're not going to be able to hold all these teams to 103 points. It's just not going to happen.
No, and like unfortunately, because of the constraints of the salary cap, the vicissitudes of the game itself, injuries, rotations, whatever, the biggest factor affecting most teams, and the Lakers included, is if you can't have your cake and eat it too, then you need to find what works and sticks with it. But Darvin Ham doesn't do that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's tinkering and fine-tuning just about everything that he puts out there instead of just letting it flow. Let yourself go. Quoting MCA, rest in peace. Let it flow. Let yourself go.
Well, I'll tell you what, my friend, it's been a great conversation as always. I cannot thank you enough for everything you're doing, my friend. But any last final thoughts? You ready for tomorrow's game against the Toronto Raptors, a team that you're very familiar with, before we head on out?
I am. I'm hearing a lot of um um what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of hostility about the Lakers. Gerald, it's kind of funny. Uh, Back in 2001, there were three really good teams in the Eastern Conference, Gerald. There was the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat the Lakers both times they played them that year. There was the Philadelphia 76ers, and there were the Toronto Raptors. Now, a lot of people thought that the NBA Finals that year was going to be the Lakers and the Bucks. That being said, the Bucks were ultimately defeated by the Sixers because the matchup of that playoffs was the Sixers and the Raptors. Sixers won. I always thought the winner of that series was going to go to the NBA Finals. Wasn't meant to be for the Raptors, and hopefully tomorrow the Lakers kind of sock it to them again, because I kind of always like walking my dogs after a Lakers win against the Raptors, because everybody has something to say to me, and we just love it.
They're coming off a great victory in Golden State as far as what they did. The backcourt, the newly minted backcourt of RJ Barrett, who scored 37 points in the last game, and then of course Emmanuel Quickly, who I thought I would have loved him on the Lakers, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it at there.
Mm-hmm.
But those two, if you can get consistency from RJ Barrett from the outside, and you can get games like that on a regular basis, watch out. But we'll see what happens. Again, Toronto coming in. Jakopoto may be out of the game. We'll go ahead and report that for you tomorrow on the
Looks like
pregame.
it.
Looks like it. Pascal Siakam's name is being thrown around in trade requests and trade proposals everywhere. So we'll see what happens there. But it is the Lakers fast break. We'll be here tomorrow for the pregame. And then, of course, the simulcast, the newest part of our great thing as well. The NSFW, the simulcast, the playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Join us there in the first area where we're at, or you can join us in the, as far as the YouTube channel, the Facebook channel. We're trying to go ahead and follow everyone there. But yeah, if playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break or the simulcast, as far as that's concerned, it looks really good from there. And then, of course, the post game, as only we can bring it to you right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Leave it there. Leave what there. Yes, peace, y'all. So for Magic Man Sean Grice, it is Gerald Glassard. Thanks so much for watching this. Truly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow for more fun and games and ranting and raving. But let's hope it starts off with a Lakers victory tomorrow. We're looking forward to it. Magic Man, so he can go out, walk his dog, and just give everybody the finger in Toronto with a victory for the Los Angeles Lakers. That's what we're doing. Looking forward to it tomorrow. Again, and we're also talking about here, as always, the best in Lakers chat you can find nowhere else than here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.